So, this is a conversation that we normally have in class, but due to our new situation here, I asked my friends, my family, and some of you to send me a video answering this question. What do you do to stay safe when walking by yourself at night? Let's see what they had to say.
Walking by myself at night isn't ever really something that I worry about. While I do take precautions when I feel like I'm in a bit more of an unsafe area, at least in my own experience, I don't ever really have to worry about, like let's say I have to go take out the garbage, at night or something, take it down the street. I never worry about something like that. Like I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, there's a chance that I might, you know, something could happen to me.
So usually if I find myself walking alone at night, I just try to stay aware of my surroundings, the people that are around me, the things I have on my person and my own personal belongings. It's not for any particular reason. Just I lived in a big city for 3 years, and I know that people will take advantage of you if you're not keeping an eye on what you're doing, and especially if you walk outside alone at night.
I don't typically worry about my own safety at night because I usually am either on the phone with somebody already or I'm walking in a group. But if I'm completely alone, I will usually just make sure that I'm going in an area that I know. And I think subconsciously, if it's a dark area or an area that I don't think is safe, I will try to take a path that's more well lit. But typically, I don't take any extra precautions to make sure that I am being safe at night. I usually just assume that I'm going to be okay. And I usually always have my cell phone with me just in case. If I'm with a friend group, however, I usually try to make sure that I either text them or that we're sharing our locations with each other just to make sure that they get home safely, and just like give me a text, like a heads up. But other than that, yeah, I don't typically take any extra safety precautions.
So when I'm walking by myself at night and I'm on alarm, typically I'll just walk faster. I try to walk as if I know where I'm going, and that's really it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I try to stay around places where I feel safe, and that I'm familiar with if I am going to be out at night or to be with someone else. So, yeah.
I'm walking at night, I like to make sure I have a charged cell phone, that someone knows where I'm going, and I like to bring my dog along.
Yeah, when I walk alone at night, I generally try to keep a safe distance from people, avoid crazy people, and that's about it. I don't carry any weapons or anything, and nobody's ever messed with me. And if anyone even gets close to me or acts crazy, I just tell them to fuck off, and they pretty much always do.
If I were at school, I always walk in pairs. I have several friends that we would stay late and study together, walk to one car, and then drive each other to the other person's car so that everyone's safe. The other thing that I really do to keep safe is if it's just me and my son, I actually get into the car with him and put him into his 5-point harness from the back seat so that we're in the car with the doors locked while I'm trying to load him in, because one of the things that has gotten really popular is people jumping women from behind when loading their children into the car. So we started doing that about 2 years ago. He enjoys it. It's a little bit harder for me, but it keeps us safe.
Is that I have pepper spray, so it's on my keychain, so I always have that no matter what. Sometimes I talk to my family or friends when I'm walking. And then the third one is my friends and I have the app Find My Friends on our iPhone, so it's an easy way if they know I'm coming to them or they know I'm going somewhere, they can look there and see where I am and how long I have been there, kind of.
Well, first of all, I try not to walk alone at night. If I do, someone likely knows where I am. I usually take the most well-lit path, with maybe some businesses along the way, or I don't go along any stretches that don't have any like stores or houses or something. Like I'm not going to walk on the Greenway at night. It's a little too isolated. What else? I make sure I have a hand free. If I really feel spooky, I may call somebody on the phone, but all the while I'm looking around like this. got my arms swinging, head up. You got to know, people got to know that you're in charge and you're aware of your surroundings.
I work late nights, so I normally end up leaving my workplace around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I do have a knife on me at all times. I am very aware of my surroundings. I make sure not to, to be ready to go to the car. Like, I have my keys ready, so I don't stand by the car and start digging for around in my pocketbook. Like, I get in, and as soon as I can, I lock the doors and I exit the area immediately.
The number one thing that I do when I walk home alone at night is I turn on my spidey senses. I become super hyper vigilant of everything around me, everyone around me, all the cars, areas of darkness and light around me. Number two, I'm super aware of where my keys are so that if I ever needed to grab them, I know exactly where to reach in a moment's notice. Number three, I call people all the time. I call my girlfriend or my family and just make sure that they're on the phone. And I've even put the phone to my face pretending to talk to someone if they're not available, just so it looks like I'm on the phone. And then number four, I have shared my locations on iPhones with friends with iPhones and let them know that I'm going to be by myself so they can track my location.
To keep myself safe at night, I don't usually walk at night unless I have to, but I did take self-defense courses in the case that I need to use them. And I am also usually on the phone, not because those people can do anything because they're on the phone, but if something does happen to me, they'll know that something happened to me.
So what I do to keep myself safe at night while walking by myself is I send my friends my location, so they have my location at all times. And when I arrive to my destination, I let them know that I got there safe. But most importantly, I try to avoid walking by myself at night at all.
When I used to get off my job back in college, not late, maybe 8:30, 9, but it was always after dark. I'd make a point to go pick up my boyfriend from his dorm, have him ride with me to my parking spot, walk with me back to my dorm, and then he would walk across back to his because, it's safer for him to walk home. He never cared. He didn't think anything was wrong, but walking through a parking lot was always the worst. You never know who's there. People would startle me all the time. Not that they were up to any trouble or anything, but you just see a person and hesitate for a second, and it's unnerving. But it's something I grew up being taught, and it's something I do now. I don't look at my phone when I'm alone in a parking lot at night. I keep an eye out for who's around me. Try not to walk alone as often as possible, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
So, to stay safe at night, I usually never walk alone. I always make sure my phone is in my hand, sometimes open. If I'm feeling unsafe, sometimes with emergency numbers already dialed and all I have to press is the little phone start call button. I've definitely walked with my keys in between my fingers just in case I had to use them as a weapon. And yeah, I also try to, stick in really populated streets when I'm walking home at night, making sure that there's lots of people, because there's safety in numbers, even if it's just strangers. And yeah, I usually also have, checking in on friends, like text me when you get home. I'm gonna text you when I get home so that we all know that we're all safe. And even though this isn't for me, but what I do for my friends is I will double check and make sure if I don't get a text from them saying that they're home safe, I will check in until they respond so I know that they're safe.